So today we're talking to Oksana from Anoda. You design software for companies who want to design their own kind of software. So I thought it would be really great to have you on to kind of talk about how exactly, when exactly, like where exactly, all of those kind of fun stories, because it's one of those areas that I think a lot of people are sitting at home thinking, yeah, I need to create my own software, but they don't really know where to start. They don't know if it's viable, all of that kind of stuff. So thank you for being here today.
Hi guys, thank you for inviting me here. In my company at Anoda, we specialize on creating UI and UX design for the SaaS and different softwares. When persons seeking to start like the new product, the new software, the very first when you need to start thinking, really thinking, it's about the idea because the biggest problem covers underneath that, okay, I will solve problem for myself, but you need to scale it to more people. Like the more easier, the more common this problem is, then it will be easier for you to scale the software. Because if you will start with problem like for 5 people, like for you and your friends, the investment doesn't worth it. So here where we are starting on the stage where it's like idea on the paper. Like we received technical requirements even on napkins. So it happens to us and we start digging inside. So we thinking about the competitors. For example, pretty often I have clients who came and said, okay, we wanted to do complete innovative idea. There is no competitors in the market. Said, okay, guys, it's not a problem, but you have not direct, you have indirect competitors. For example, if you have a dashboard inside of your SaaS system, then even Stripe or Databox will be your competitor. So we slice this product as a cake piece by piece and research regarding every part of it. And after that, we came in with asking about the business model. What will be your monetization model? Because you can sell the data. Maybe it's not very ethical, but it is how it is. Then you can sell the subscription. You can be somebody like man in the middle. So you charging the commission like Airbnb, for example, or Booking, and then you earning based on these fees. Or you can be absolutely freemium but have advertisement inside. So it very really depends, but my strong recommendation here, please read the book Alexander Osterwalder, Business Model Canvas. It has a lot of pages, but 99% is pictures, and you can get an idea how different business models looks like and find the more suitable to you. Because based on your business model, the next will be your target audience, to whom we're gonna sell this software. For example, here is the UI part comes in. If we do an application for the elderly people, we can't use the bright colors. It should be very contrast and big bold font. If we design for kids or for the Gen Z, then we must follow with very bright colors. It will be like a rainbow, because another way kids wouldn't be attracted with it. If we design it, for example, for the business, for the B2B, it will be strict like white color application with in the blue colors, because usually these colors are mostly not bringing a lot of attention. It decreasing the cognitive load of the brain. And then based on what user needs to do in your application, for example, if we're talking about a SaaS software B2B for analytics, for example, then we expect that business analysts will spend there like hours. So from the UX perspective, we're thinking about, okay, how to decrease cognitive load. Like for example, if you're using Google Sheets for 4, 3, 5 hours, you start crying. Your brain is completely boiled. You're exhausted. But if, for example, you will proceed some data in Notion or Airtable where it has color coding, icons, nice drop downs, it will be easier for your brain because it speed ups like way how we processing the information. And in this way it's called like the good user experience, and then your users can spend more time in this application. They don't need to like stop to go smoking or coffee or just watching kittens on YouTube just to relax. And these items, it's a basic, it's fundamental when you're thinking about creating the software.
Okay. And obviously, if I would say, would that be the biggest kind of thing that usually startups don't kind of think through before they get to you? They think they need to create software, but they might not. Or what is usually the biggest kind of thing that you need to explain to people?
It really depends. Like, for example, if it's a newbies, so guys who doing this the very first time in their life, then they completely lost. So they want to mix unmixable thing, to keep the tight budget, to do all possible researches because they are insecure about these investments. And in the same time, they want to have absolutely innovative idea with innovative user experience, etc. But it's impossible to achieve. It's like, let's go stand here. No, it just won't work. And in this case, I suggest to eat it step by step. Like, you can't eat whole pizza in one single bite. So we starting with the researches. We can do like a lot of customer development interviews, talking to the competitors. Our designers will say that they wanted to buy competitors' software. I will go to the sales representation to dig inside more. But it's not necessary. We can go from common sense how people doing it, from common sense how it should be. It's called heuristics. And after that, we working with a customer to highlight 5 maximum 6 features that will be inside the MVP, because there is like a 2 ways to build it. The very first, proof of concept, 1-2 features on board from the business perspective, and that's all. It will be ugly, it will be really almost unusable, but you can test your idea like around $5,000-10,000. If we're talking about the MVP, the cost can go up to $50,000, but here we selecting 5 or 6 features, not more, because still, guys, you will need to build like the foundation: settings, user profile, sign up, sign in, reset password, onboard user, tutorials, payment system if you have payment system or subscriptions. Then you need delete your account, cancel payment, download invoices. All of that coming just out of the box. And on top of that, we add in your 5-6 features. This helps to keep in the same time not overestimated and not over tasked software, because you have no idea will it work or not. And yeah, 50 grand is still like, you can buy a car for this money, you can pay for the college for your kid at least for 1 year, for example. So yeah, it's a really big investment. And then based on the data that we will start receiving from the users, we can update, we can add new feature, we can adapt to the feedback. But it's only 10% of what you will need. Guys, the biggest common mistake, underestimate the marketing side. It's insane because, to be honest, if you want to open the door with your leg and enter the market, and I hope in not very competitive niche, you will need 9 times more than you spent on the development. So if we will do in our math, it will be around like half of the million to really penetrate for example, the United States market. And you need always to calculate your business model, as I mentioned before we even started doing the real software. What we can do, we have really a lot of tricks. The very first, share it for free, subscribe and press the like button. So we can do the landing page, we sign up for a beta. We can create only few nice screens for your application that still doesn't exist. And you will start launching the market, like spend $500 on Google Ads or social media network advertisement, etc. Test how many signups you're gonna have and how many, not like how many, how much it's gonna cost to you per one lead, because it's still not 100% sure. You can be sure that these guys who sign up for a beta gonna pay for your software. It's still your leads. So doing this small test, you can understand, okay, is my idea at least doable, livable? Can it be like real business model? Because right now, guys, there is no crazy investors money. Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before all these things happened in the world, it was like you can like try and grab a taxi and raise, I don't know, $1 or $2 million for your startup. This era is finished. And right now, investors pay a lot of attention on your pipeline. When you come in with ready product, you want to go like to the United States market. So you usually raising money for marketing. And all of them already start asking how your pipeline looks like, how many signups you have right now, and how many money you need. Do you know your cost per lead? What's your customer acquisition cost? What's your churn rate? And you need to provide all these numbers. And if you spend all money on testing your ideas, on development, on design, you will have nothing to show.
Yeah, 100%. I love that, testing your idea. So you effectively create like a wireframe, just like you say, a couple of pages to test your idea. Because most people kind of think, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people as well, that if you like, no one ever built an app that they thought no one was going to look at. Like everyone thinks this is the thing. If they create it, like everyone will come. But you're competing, if you look at, you're not competing in the same market that you are. So it's not, if you're a social media app, you're competing against other social media apps. You're competing for screen time. So you're competing against the Amazons, against the different e-tail brands, against the different social media, even the social texting. And eventually the space there, or the percentage, I think last time I heard was something like 35% is left of screen time that you're competing with everyone else with. And yeah, to have that deeper insight to know whether you can actually get people at a decent cost, like that makes a lot of sense before you build a city and then no one comes.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Because I saw so many disasters in a products. For example, one of our clients, it was like I think 8 years ago, the product was like before the time. Really before the time. Really, that guy invented blockchain that time. So the idea was owning of pieces of art, then we will have strict line of owners, and you can't remove the owner, like the blockchain works. And we built the product, we built the design. It was the MVP. The cost was over 60 or 70 key on that moment. And that guy started renaming the tabs and shuffle tabs inside the menu because he thought that nobody gonna use it. Guys, nobody gonna use it. We need to call invoices, bills, etc. Okay, it can be easy to just rename labels, but we start moving things around a lot. And at the end, he spent around 10 key on this renaming. It was the most useless spent of money in my life, what I saw. And for me, it was surprised that it was the final budget. So we're still not near to the release. By the way, guys, if you do in the mobile application, never plan your release date in September. Plan it always before Apple and Google operation system updates, because your project wouldn't be buildable for a weeks, probably for a weeks from the release. So it will cost you additional money to bring it back to life. Like yesterday, it worked as a charm. Today, developer comes, the system updates, because without updated system, you can't upload it to the Apple or Google Play. It wouldn't be possible. You need to have the latest software. Then your project just can't run in ID development environment because it has 200 of errors and something happened. And developer needs a lot of coffee just to get it back to the same state. So it can take like around 2-3 weeks sometimes. So even if you build in the React Native or something else, then even longer. Just pay attention to that. So in the end, it was mobile application, and we start releasing it on September 10. It was still a time where Apple takes 2 weeks for the review your application, and it was in turn on total disaster. So the application never went live.
That is terrible. And that's coming from a great idea, obviously great execution. There was that little bit of speed bump at some point, but yeah, and it still didn't amount to anything. That is horrible. What is one of the success stories that you have from one of your clients?
One of the very first projects when I started company, I was completely young. I was 22. There was like, I was very stupid and very brave. So was full of energy. And first client, he came to us through the Upwork, and he said, okay, I have $63 and I want to have a wallpapers application, like plus 100 fully designed for me custom wallpapers and two screens application like in the backend. I said, okay, Alex, I love you very much, but $63, it wouldn't cover even my coffee. Let's discuss the budget. And it was like my first client, like, oh my God, I need to grab something, but I don't want to be that person who building like a copy of Facebook for 500. So I said, okay, Alex, at least $700. It will cover, I don't know how many, 25 or 30 hours of development. It was easy to design, it was easy to develop, a very easy application. So he came in 2 weeks. He really saved money from like pocket money. He was a student, 2 years student, and we launched the application and I forgot about them. We started receiving the new orders, the new clients, because the mobile was like a boom of the mobile. And in 2 or 3 weeks, I'm receiving a call. That time I was in Ukraine and Alex from the United States. Like huge time difference, around 13 hours, 2 a.m. I see like my phone calling and the United States number. I just drop it. Then again, I said, okay, I got up. Like, yes, who is that? Oksana, it's Alex. Like, we have our problems. Nobody can download the wallpapers. I don't care. You don't have support package. Jeez, I want to sleep. I just sleeping for 1 hour.
For 700.
For 700. Yes, I said, okay. Anyways, I'm not sleeping right now and I have insomnia. So, okay, I will check it right now. I'm trying to log in to the backend. I can't. I thought maybe it's hacked or I don't know, something happens. Then I'm trying to log into DigitalOcean VDS and I can't. Then I open the terminal and I want to see highlighted connections to this application. There were more than 1 million online users who trying to download the application. Not application, sorry, the wallpapers. What? Like, what? I'm sorry, what? Alex keeping calling me because he said the application became top 3 number 1 US App Store right now. And I really need to do something because like they starting getting the bad reviews like I can download. Okay, we receiving directly call from the Digital Ocean. It wasn't like such a big company that days, but they said, okay, we need to move you urgently to the cloud because your code can handle this request. It's too much request and we understand that you have a problems. So they copy us to the cloud like in a minutes, everything restored. Alex said, okay, thank you. He sent me 5 grants for this help, just for that I didn't left him alone with this problem. And I was like, I came like to the balcony and start smoking and thinking about my life because this guy, just story behind, guys, this guy almost homeless. His mom bank next week bank should like was used to took their house because of the mortgage, because of the student's loan. They had no money to pay it. So, and on this moment, on two banners, Google Ads banners, he started receiving $10,000 every 3 hours. That time, Google Ads was like it wasn't possible to accumulate more than $10,000 on your account. So he runs turn on few alarms every 2 hours to withdraw money to credit card, because another way he started losing just money, and he earned like more than 100K. Then he sold this project, he paid the mortgage, he bought a house for himself, he bought a car, he was in charge of students group, I don't remember, brotherhood, some kind of that, and he created a huge party on a prom. So that's how the small startup for $700 idea, thousands of applications like that in the market, thousands, like millions of like that, but he did it. He did it, and it was still the most crazy story about the success right now.
Fantastic. I was a little bit worried there, just for everyone that obviously they don't really know your story. Like, you started developing at like 5 years old.
Yeah, both of my parents are software developers. They meet in university on the software development program, and like few years later, here is me, and I was like very intelligent. I was really smart for my age. I start reading really like in 2 or 3 years. Then I start, like, English is not my first language, so pardon any typos. I started learning English when I was 3, and like when I was 5, we have in Ukraine we have kindergartens for children, like before they go into school, so like parents can drop the child there and grab back after work, and they just said, okay, you're unlisted from the kindergarten just because we can deal with her, like it's impossible. So for 1 year, totally 1 year, all my time I spent at home with my grandpa, because like my parents was used to go to work, like they both have two demanding jobs, and there was nothing to just keep me busy all the time. And as my dad, he started doing some work, additional work at home regarding the software development. So in this, we had the very first computers. It was called Spectrum 48, as I remember, like 5 inches floppy disks that horrible noise when it started. And to run the game that I had on the floppy disk, you need to write small program that will run that game. So few times, and yeah, guys, it was absolutely prohibited to turn on the computer while parents not at home. As you understand, it doesn't stop me. So I start like watching, observing what dads exactly enters there, like to run the game, because goal it was like to play the game. One day, second day, third day, I start trying while they both on work. I understand how to turn all the things on, how to launch. Then I start like putting all words that needs to be there. It was basic. It's not even like the visual basic. It was basic. And when the game started, it was just a celebration. And after that, I came to my dad, and he was like some kind of troll guy, because I'm really bored. So he gave me the huge English Russian dictionary that was bigger than whole me. Said, okay, let's start learn English. Okay. Next day, I continue asking these questions. Hey, Dad, maybe you can show me something more about the computer. Said, okay, yeah, no problems. Here is the book about how to do programming on Basic, but it's on English. But you already have a dictionary. I was okay, thank you. And then, like, I've asked a few questions to my mom, like, Mom, what's like the axis, how it works? Then, Mom, what's like the like negative digits, because I'm not even like in the school. And after that, I start doing like paintings, small children, like kids paintings, not on the paper. I start doing it on the computer, like snowman with circles, or I don't know, write with lines, I love you mom, everything like that. That's how I started programming. After that, I just did for a few years because of the school, and I went later to the physical math school. And on seventh year, yeah, we had the Pascal. It was horrible. I didn't understand anything, but I started asking questions to my mom. She spent some time with me, and after that, I just understood how the computer works. That's all. After that, it's like already 18 or 19 years how I'm doing the software development for commercial use.
Oh, fantastic. And obviously now we've gotten to this stage. So what does 2025 look like for?
It started really tough, like previous year. I think all outsourcing and startup and agencies, they understood that the elections in the United States and instability of the market was really horrible. It's insane. Like we can say that the COVID times was tough, then right now it was really insane. Right now we doubled in past 2 months. We have a lot of inquiries. We have a lot of new clients, big companies. We working like with small startups where you're receiving requirements on the napkin, and as well we're working with Tesla Ukraine department. We worked with Hyundai. We worked with Airbnb and other big names. Some of them like under NDA, but guys, you all know these companies, and we just extremely growing, and I'm a little bit scary because for a business no clients and too much clients, it's both like not the best things that you can have. Yeah, it's good for like the money for the business, but still I pay a lot of attention in my company. Then even if we're doing like the new hire, the new designer, we onboarding this person at least for a month to keep learning all procedures. Here she needs to know every detail regarding the domain that he gonna work there. Everything, not only about process, not only about the perfect English, but thinking out of the box, because we're providing to our clients full understandable process. And I'm really proud of that. I built the process for every single client. It's absolutely the same. It's predictable. Every client knows if we're starting with the main research, then we go into the user flow, then we go into the wireframes, then we go into the branding itself, etc. And they all know, both team and clients, stakeholders, they know what to expect. It really helps. From the perspective to the later 2025, I hope the Ukrainian war get finished. Like, yeah, I'm Ukrainian. I hope it will be finished, and in the same time it will unblock some new investments from the United States, so they internally will have more investments, and more startups, like even from the Western Europe, they can achieve more investment there, and then this market will start grow, because still layoffs in the United States software companies, it's still significant.
Yeah, geez, it's interesting how we're all connected,
Mm-hmm.
and how, yeah, this is really affecting the world. I'm there 100%. I don't think there's anyone, well, except for one or two people maybe. That's just we need to get this war just ended. But yeah, that process that you mapped out, I know you believe that you built the whole company on happy, grateful clients, and that's the number one thing. Like, you don't do software, you produce happy, grateful clients, and I can see how that system really produces that.
Yeah, for me, every person who comes to my company as a client or as a like new designer, developer, project manager, whatever, I told that we not doing the software here. It's like the second thing that we're building. We're not doing the design. It's not about the users of this software. Nothing about that. We have clients, the person who pays your salary, my salary, everyone's like pays for our utilities, etc. And this person must be happy, must be grateful. If your client in the middle of collaboration is not happy, is not grateful, you did your job bad, really bad. You need to start doing the retrospective and rethinking everything that you did in this collaboration. Yeah, I'm not saying that 100% of our clients are happy, but yeah, we sometimes have a refund. Like I always build all parts of the project and collaboration when clients if client understands, okay, it just don't work, it doesn't work, he can came to me, said, Oksana, let's stop. For example, it happened for me last time, I think 3 or 4 years ago. Like once per 3 4 years it happens. I wouldn't say it never happened, it happens. I said, okay, it just doesn't work, let's break up. For me, I failed. So, yeah, not all clients are flowers. We not like going with bells and wings, but we as a managers, as a salespersons, as a higher management must find a way to make this person happy. And in the end, even I had a like story when we had like almost signed a contract, almost. Colin, let's call him Bob. Like, hey Bob, like we sent you MSA software agreement, so let's start collaboration. Yeah, Xana, it's like not the best moment right now. Like, geez, it was really juicy project. Is it, what happened? What the hell happened? I'm right now in a conference in other city and I totally forgot about marriage anniversary. And my wife right now will start filling paper on divorce and I have no idea what to do. And she right now on the road on the trip with her besties and they of course they filling me with all bad words in this world. Said, okay, Bob, do you know where they going? Said, yep, he named the hotel. Said, okay, Bob, as a woman, I will cover your back. You right now can go and read goodly to the software agreement and I will cover your back. So I've called to my personal assistant. I always have personal assistant. I say, just drop everything that you're doing right now. Find any flower shop, like I found the Facebook of this lady. Find what she likes, order some table in a good restaurant on her name, plus send flowers and maybe candies, I don't know, do the stalkering in the Facebook. So yeah, of course, Bob paid for everything from his pocket, but she was really surprised because he never paid attention to these small details. We, like as a woman, we teach him how to solve such problems, and he signed that contract on the next morning. So it's not only about the software, it's not only about design. I always say, like, guys, if you want to sell, for example, for listeners right now, guys, like for your users, you're also not selling the software, you're selling some sort of painkiller. So make the box nice, make everything joyful, something like that. So you can use the same principle in your sales.
Yeah, 100%. You're not selling a solution. You're not selling a product, you're selling the solution. Like someone wants to buy your product not because they don't wake up in the morning and think, "Oh, I want your product." They wake up in the morning and think, "I really have this problem and I might solve it with your product." But your product is usually one thing in a couple of different steps. So expanding that. And yeah, I know people talk about it as the value ladder, but taking it one step further and thinking about your ICP or your client profile, thinking about which problems they have. And obviously, if it's a businessman, you might kind of assume that he's not as attentive and he doesn't have as much time. So rolling that in, it really goes above and beyond. But I like the you mentioned like three, like well, one instance in 3 years, and I know you do like 100 different product projects per year. What kind of trends are you seeing in software?
Like if you asked me this question like half year ago, I will say AI. But geez, guys, please don't be charmed with this AI. Like a year ago, I was speaking in New York in United Nations Council of Germany and handled the investor panel. All that startups who came with AI. The same, by the way, was on every conference this year. Web Summit, MVC, the same. They came in with AI idea, they showing the nice pictures, pipeline, empty. But okay, they can say the subscription not so high, not so expensive. It will be easier to grab clients. But the AI model is not trained. They have no data for it. And for example, we had guys with a startup, their idea underline was about doing the marketing research with AI and fire your marketers, like marketer researchers. For me, it's interesting because I can automate something like for even $100, and I don't need to pay like $1,000 monthly for salary. Okay, but their model is not trained. They have no data to train it. And just imagine how many data, how many different domains, marketing researches in subdomains, even in different criteria you need to feed with this AI model to make it at least accurate. So AI assistants, yeah, it works. Maybe some chatbots integrating, for example, integrating the support chatbot. But guys, we all pissed off with talking with these chatbots when you're trying to ask specific, strict question, and this, did you mean this one? And just placing you absolutely different question, absolutely different reply, and you say, no, talk to person, talk to human. I want to talk with operator, and it says sends you emojis, and you just pissed off in a second. So my suggestion is to go with something that you can easy penetrate the market. So it shouldn't be some kind of, or you must be very specific B2B software, but just pay attention that B2B, they don't buy subscription. They buy, for example, they paying for the year upfront or afterwards with net 1 year, for example. So pay attention on that. Plus the considerational process will be months. We talk about months, not even days, like sometimes years. Your software will become totally outdated before you sell the first copy. So, or you need to start sign up companies before the release, and then you can even adjust the software based on their requests, so it will be easier for you. They will cover your development expenses and you will get the first user feedback. I think very good will work everything with marketing and sales. AI for the sales, AI for the marketing, predictable models for the marketing, because right now marketing costs are insane. If you will launch like the Google Ads campaign, you're gonna be broke, jeez. And in the same time, the influence marketing right now raises. Guys who built blogs in the TikTok, in Instagram, they really have some kind of power. And to do some marketing through them becomes really more cheap and easier for brands. So if you're gonna do some software somewhere in the middle to grab the fee or connect the dots, you will work, because there are a lot of marketing influencer agencies and they are sharing the fee, they take in a bigger commission, and these guys, they have just no idea how to find the clients. The agents have like a very good margin. What else? Of course, robotics. Right now is a fire. We have 2 or 3 startups right now, not even startups, it's like established companies who does the robotics and automation for huge warehouses and logistics. The next one, probably the last one I see right now, it will be anything that helps with intellectual property handling. Because for example, like few days ago we fell in a case when our intellectual property was stolen by just stranger, and it's still for me as the owner of this intellectual property, it's my responsibility to track all copies in the world and feel like the claim, feel like the issue. And there is like almost nothing to monitor. Images, sounds, etc. There is some mechanism to monitor the fonts, for example. But for example, if somebody will just flip our design from left to right and upload it, no, there is no software which gonna find it. So we need to check it all the time, and it's to cost money, it costs time that we can spend somewhere else. So something regarding this will beat the market really, because there are a lot of artists, a lot of designers, a lot of people who create in different piece of art or digital art, and they just can't track how their intellectual property used.
Oh, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for the insights. Let's kind of one more question. Like everyone wants to build the next WhatsApp or the next WeChat or the next big app. Why would you say most of them fail? What kind of is the traps that they fall into?
Number one, they focused on polish an application rather than sell it, build the awareness, build the brand. Because as I mentioned previously, the story, the guy, he just renamed everything and moved around items around the menu. And he is not alone. Even in my company, we had like more than 20 such people, like for 12 years, who killed the product itself this way. And all the time we're saying to all our clients, guys, be focused on the value. Like nice animation have zero business value when you have no users, no product. The onboarding inside the product, it's not so important rather than working cart, for example. And like, don't play with fonts, don't play with colors. If it's okay, it's enough. Just know this enough. Don't play with bells and wings. It wouldn't buy you tomorrow's coffee. The next one, people don't want to think about another people. Like when you build in the software, you think, I will make this button here or this feature this way because I think it will work. Ask your friends, ask your neighbors, go to some networking party and say, okay, let's do some exchange. If you need some kind of favor, I can do anything for you, but tell me your real opinion and start thinking about critics, because usually when we receiving the critics, we, no, it's not about me, no, it's something wrong with you, it's about your imagination, that's how you understand things, it's not about me, you need to be more kind. And don't forget, in some cultures, people not saying critics, it's not okay. For example, in the United States, okay, it wasn't like the best decision, I think it will just, for them it's usually everything gonna be nice, I will pray for you, I will think like you're gonna be on top. Guys, remove the pink glasses. Pink glasses broken inside, always inside. So be careful with this feedback. Ask for honest feedback and be ready to absorb this feedback, because to be honest, let you be angry for day or two, like to be pissed off, rather than you will spend 50 or 100 grams on something that just dead from the start. So these two items, like I think it's the most important way. Then yeah, start with something small. You don't need to build the whole software before the release. You can deliver it chunk by chunk. Like it sounds like if you ordered a pizza and delivery guy will, every piece will drive to you separately. From this perspective, it's crazy. In case of software, it's a normal situation. It's okay. It's good. It's even better. And start working with the feedback, because to be honest, all of my clients, all of startuppers, they thinking, oh, I will upload my application like to the App Store or Google Play or build the landing page and users will start download it. No, nobody gonna download it except your mom, dad, and your like friends. Nobody knows about that. Then you will start doing the marketing, and then your heart will be broken again. You will start receiving bad reviews. It's not if you will, you will. Of course you will. And sometimes you're thinking about users like the people are smart. Not always. For example, that guy who did like almost 50 grants per day on the ads in the application. We received 1 star review, and like someone says, application shows error, there is no free space on my iPhone to download application. I can't download application, wallpaper, sorry, wallpaper, 1 star. What's wrong with you? Like, you have no free space. What do you expect? That we will erase your iPhone? And yeah, some of the reviews will be in this way, and you need to have a bold strategy how you gonna like update it from 1 star to 5 stars. Like, we worked with a shipmate. It's a big cruise line company startup, and they sent just a small magnet with application name. It was $1 magnet. We are United States Post. It's like 40 cents to send it, and they talk to people. Okay, you have this problem. Let's check. Mike, he checked the database. He reproduced the issue. Developers solved the issue. He shipped this magnet, and people by their own way they updated the review. So this is like the most important things that you need to know.
Fantastic. That sounds, yeah, I think that sounds like a major block. And obviously, turning those reviews, having a concrete structure that if you get a 1 star review, who's going to follow up with it? How are you going to fix it? How are you going to make it happy? Even if you can't make the client happy, as long as you can show that you care about them and you tried and you replied and you acknowledged their problem and tried to solve it. I see a lot of companies just they forget about the reviews and they kind of look the other way. If they get a 1 star review, they're like, oh yeah, but this guy didn't really understand. But they kind of fail to understand that the other people that will read that review, they won't have context. They won't understand that this guy was a trouble or he didn't look, yeah, his iPhone was full and that's why he couldn't download anything. They'll just see 1 star and then they'll go, oh yes, look, they didn't even reply to this without even thinking it through. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So if someone's sitting at home thinking, okay, no, they definitely need to get in contact with you because they have the idea for the next WhatsApp or the next WeChat, like how do they get in contact with you?
Feel free to drop me a line on my email. You can visit our website anoda.mobi and fill contact form there. Or you can contact me via LinkedIn and follow my thoughts and my travel tips in Twitter. Maybe you will grab some new idea there.
And if they just want to follow your journey, I hear Twitter, your travel tips on Twitter, or how do they follow you? Would you suggest the same place?
Yeah, like just a few weeks ago, I came back from the Kenya in Africa. Guys, it's just something that changed your mind. When you saw all these animals in the books, in National Geographic, and then the lion just scratch its back out your jeep, like, and you keep quiet because you don't want to be eaten, you don't want to be a breakfast. It's absolutely different emotions. And for owners, for people who drive in the business, you feed in business with your energy. You can't go another way. If you're exhausted, if your vision, like if your understanding of the world, like in the box, like your what is a box, you just can't bring any new ideas. You have no energy, you're exhausted, you can't recover from the huge stress, because if you're not stressed right now, wait for tomorrow, something gonna happen. And if you like burnt out as a CEO, as a top manager, is number one task for you to get out of this burning out, because something happens for sure and you will have zero capacity to solve it. And this next problem can kill you, of course.
That is a interesting note to end on. I'm gonna go with not end you, but let's go with go and get some, take a break, go to some greenness, go and see some animals. Maybe in Africa. I'm from South Africa, so I'm partial to going to the Kruger Park or one of those. But go and see huge animals. It makes you feel kind of small. Fantastic. Oksana, thank you so much for your time today. I think, yeah, if anyone, like, I'll drop in links and all of that to you below, depending on what the platform is. So either below or above, like, search for it in the description. There will be links to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Have an amazing day. Thank you, guys. See you.